I need to lock in. I need to get more focused. I need to be more motivated. I need to be stricter. What do all those statements have in common? They're a vague ambition for something to be different, but without any tangible and concrete commitment that will turn that vision into reality. If you are not making the progress that you want to towards your physique goals, your health goals, or any other self-improvement goal you might have, the answer is rarely more commitment or more motivation. The answer is establishing the structure and environment that allows you to thrive. And this week, I'll show you how. It's February. January is over. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I quite like January, but I did notice that by the third week, my focus, my motivation, my energy had just dipped from where they were at the start of the year. January is just 1/12 of the year. There is nothing magical about it. And I'm fully aware that in my efforts to encourage people to start the year off on the right footing, I buy into that January being the time to lock in kind of meme. But ultimately, it's just another month. For some guys in the method community, things are going really well. I've made really good progress, and a lot of the other guys have as well in the New Year Accelerator. But not everyone. Always, there's going to be some people that are struggling due to a range of different factors that could be impacting their ability to achieve what they want to. And in those cases, I see a lot of guys blaming motivation, commitment, focus, the need to be stricter, the need to get more locked in. But in 95% of cases where progress isn't where you want it to be, the problem is simply one of consistency. The guys who get the best results within the Mind and Matter method are those who stay imperfectly consistent. And by that, I don't mean 100% optimized or always doing more or every week being the same, but framing every week as the opportunity to be successful, whether it's one that they're going to hit hard or slow down because of life or work or whatever, or just do their best. The guys who thrive are those who give every week their best effort by focusing on the fundamentals, getting their workouts done, tracking their nutrition sustainably, checking in with me weekly, and asking for help when they need it. They've got similar challenges to the rest of us. Some of the most successful guys that I've worked with and do work with are actually the busiest guys, or they've got more than your average number of kids. And they've got demanding jobs, they've got stress just like you and me. So what is the difference? The difference is not optimization. It's not trying to find the perfect training program or the perfect diet or look for new or look for hacks or quick fixes. It is simply one of sustainability. And where you conclude, I need more motivation, I need more commitment, that is not a you problem. It's a structural, systemic problem. And that means it's more fixable. The difference is that those guys turn their problems into concrete commitments that they can track and manage. And we can do the same thing here. So if you've got a desire or you have concluded that you need to be stricter or more focused, what do you actually mean by that? You know the answer because you must have concluded that something wasn't right to come to the realization that you need to be more committed or more focused, even if that's mistaken. But don't just stop at the surface level. Don't just say, well, I need to sort out my nutrition or I need to sort out my training. I hear people say things like that all the time. This is the time to get really specific. So when you say you need to sort out your nutrition or you need to be stricter with nutrition, what are you actually saying? Is it that you're not tracking your diet at all or you're not tracking it at weekends? Is it that your calories are way over where they should be or your protein's too low? And if the problem is training related, and of course it could be both, is it that you've got 4 workouts in your schedule, but you're only getting 1 or 2 in each week? Is it that you're only getting 3,000 steps a day and you know that you need to be walking more? Is it that you're staying in your comfort zone when you do train and you're just going through the motions, you're not pushing yourself, you're not aiming to hit PRs and gradually increase the reps and the weight? Once you have the specifics of what it is you are dealing with, you can turn that into action, not by doing more or by being motivated this week, but by looking at what the barriers are that are holding you back, which tend to be either structural or environmental. Structural problems are basically logistical. The most common ones I see are unrealistic plans that just don't hold up in real life, or a lack of any planning whatsoever. So an unrealistic plan looks like, I'm going to do 4 workouts a week and I'm going to go for 2 runs a week and I'm going to get 10K steps a day. But that person might be spending their weekends driving their kids around for their extracurricular activities. They might not finish work till 6 p.m. and they're trying to train after their work and they just don't have the energy to do so. That's an unrealistic plan. This is why whenever somebody signs up to work with me, in the very first engagement that I have with them, I ask them, how many workouts a week can you realistically commit to? And then I say, don't say 4 if you can only realistically commit to 3. I would rather somebody was doing less and setting themselves up for success and feeling in control and feeling like they were hitting what they were aiming to hit, rather than feeling like they're always behind the curve. And this is why the Mind and Matter Method system is designed to be adaptable, flexible, and sustainable, because that is different for every individual. I can be in the gym every day. It's 5 minutes down the road. I don't have to summon up any motivation to go and do it. So there's no friction there to me doing it. I can go early in the morning and then come back for the school run, or a bit later in the week when the kids are with their mum. I've got more time and I just take it a bit easier. But I can be there every day and there's no barrier to me doing that. That is not the same for other people. So I can say I can be in the gym 7 days a week, apart from if I'm away at a weekend or whatever. Other people, it might only be 3. So an unrealistic plan is just immediately putting you behind the curve. And the solution there is to lower the barrier for success. If you're not doing 4 workouts a week or 3 workouts a week, then we need to start with less. The other most common trait I see here is a lack of any planning whatsoever. So even if you can commit to 3 workouts a week, but you don't plan when they're going to be and you just leave it to chance. I'm going to do it after work, maybe Monday or Tuesday, and then maybe one at the weekend. It's not going to happen. And the solution to that is really simple. It's just to take 15 minutes at the start or the end of each week to plan what's happening. What commitments have I got this week for work? When have I got opportunities in the week? When am I going to have more time? So for a lot of us, maybe we work in an office some days a week, but there's some days we're working from home. That's opportunity. What family and parental commitments have I got this week? Or what social events have I got coming up? Once you've got an idea of what's happening in your week, you can plan your health and fitness stuff around it. And by that, yes, I'm talking about training here as an example. That can just as easily apply to when you're going to do your food shopping and maybe a bit of meal prep or a bit of meal planning as well. And the other action that is relevant here is checking in every week. The weekly check-in that my clients complete is not for me necessarily. Yes, obviously it's very helpful for me to see how they are doing, whether they're making the progress they want to, what issues they're facing. But it's also for the individual client, because that weekly check-in acts as a prompt to say, how did this week go? What have you learned? And what's coming up next week? So if you're not doing that, or you're just going through the motions with it, putting a little bit more focus and thought into that will help you plan successfully for what's coming up and help you overcome some of the structural issues that might be standing in the way of your progress. Or environmental issues. And by that, I mean not establishing an environment around you that allows you to thrive. Now, that can be people and it can be place. People can be maybe your family are just not aligned with you on your healthy eating, which is just going to be an uphill battle always. If you've got a desire to eat a high protein, low carb, low fat evening meal, but your partner's just like, nah, we're having fish and chips, or we're getting a takeaway 3 nights a week, or your kids just refuse to eat healthy food and they just complain and say, we just want pizza, you are always going to be facing an uphill battle when it comes to nutrition. Now, I am not saying you have to impose your healthy, nutritious meals onto everybody else, because that can just lead to conflict in the home. But I am saying this might be the time to have the conversation and say, look, my goals are really important to me. I'm worried about my long-term health. I'm not happy with my appearance and I want to lose a bit of body fat so I feel more comfortable, so I fit into those really nice trousers you bought me 2 years ago, so I can fit into my shirts again, and just so I feel more confident, just so I feel happier in my skin and in my life. Can you support me with that goal? Not by necessarily cooking me extra food, but by just not complaining about me wanting to eat higher protein or nutritious meals. Or if that's not possible, control the controllable. So if you need more flexibility in the evening, this is a case for eating the same functional thing for breakfast and lunch every day, because then you can control for the calories, you can make sure they're high protein, and that will give you more flexibility in the evening. There's loads of ways of doing this, and it's all personal. It's all about what's realistic for you and your lifestyle. But there are always ways. And environmental can also be placed. So if there is a lack of friction, which makes misaligned choices way too easy, it's always going to be a struggle. So if you've got a fridge full of beer and you're trying not to drink, how well do you think that's going to go? Or if you are trying to reduce the calories that you consume on late night snacking, which you know is crisps or chocolate, and your cupboard is full of crisps or chocolate, what do you think is going to happen? You can set yourself up for success and you can set yourself up for failure. So if there's a lack of friction there, something needs to change. Now, obviously, the best way to fix that is to not have the things in the house. Sometimes that's not possible due to other people in the house. A common one I hear is dads whose kids need sweets or snacks or whatever, just as mine do. The way I fix that is by giving them snacks and stuff that just aren't that appealing to me. So if they've got Rice Krispie squares in the cupboard that they might have with their lunch, or they might have as a snack in the evening, or a Muller corner, which they often have for dessert in the evening, I just have no temptation to eat those things. But if there was a Bourneville chocolate or Tony's Chocolonely or something like that in the cupboard that was given to them, I would want that. So I just avoid those things being in the house. And the other fix is to make aligned choices easier. So make sure healthier options are available. If you've got a sweet tooth, then high protein desserts, high protein yogurt, fruit, or delicious, salty, nutritious snacks that aren't deep fried, or simple rules that allow you to remove the guesswork. So meal planning works here because it reduces the decision fatigue of what are we going to eat? How are we going to eat it? Am I getting enough protein? Am I managing calories? Which can then obviously impact negatively on your level of focus because it erodes your executive function and moves you into autopilot mode. You're then just more likely to mindlessly overeat on foods that you then get pissed off that you ate. Or simple rules like having an eating window. I do not eat after 8 p.m. And then you make that easier for yourself by, for example, brushing your teeth after you've eaten the last thing of the day. These are simple fixes. These are not grand. And notice how none of them are about being more motivated or being more focused. They're just about setting the right structure and environment around you to allow you to thrive. One of my clients was last year struggling a bit with consistency. And he knew the problem was a lack of accountability. He felt he had a long way to go to achieve his physique goals. And when you've got a long journey ahead of you, it can be disheartening. So what he decided to do, unprompted, was to tap into the group accountability of the community within the Mind and Matter Method. Post daily with updates on training, nutrition, and everything else, because that holds him accountable to others and gives him a simple way of staying on track. There is no coincidence that he is one of the guys consistently smashing his goals and getting the best results. Not because he's posting daily, but because he'd identified the problem, and instead of thinking, I just need to be more motivated, he turned it into a concrete, decisive, but simple and achievable action that allowed him to stay accountable and stay on track. The irony of this is the guys who tell me I need to be stricter or I need to be more focused or more motivated, it's not a skill issue. These guys are successful. They are parents. They brought kids up into the world. They've got families. They've got successful careers. They're organized. They are capable of juggling many priorities and thriving in other aspects of their life. It just so happens that for them, health, fitness, physique is the one that often becomes the first thing to sacrifice when life gets busy. But if nothing changes, nothing will change. So if you conclude that you just need more motivation or more focus, but you don't actually change anything structurally or systemically, nothing material will change. You might have a good week or even a good fortnight or even a good month. But inevitably, motivation or focus or energy will drift or dip again. And without changing the underlying causes, you will not make the progress you want to. And yes, of course, you need discipline. You need the discipline to say no to the donuts that Margaret brings into the office on a Friday, or to say no thanks to your mates when they invite you out for beers on a Wednesday. But you can make discipline the easier and more obvious choice by establishing an environment and a structure and a plan that sets you up for success. So if so far this year, things have not gone as well as you wanted to, and you know there's room for improvement, it's okay. It's normal. We put a lot of pressure on January. Our plans are not always going to go as well as we want them to, whether it's now or any other time of year. But if you've concluded, I just need to get locked in, I just need focus, I just need motivation, challenge that notion and turn it into a concrete set of actions that are realistic and achievable for you, that allow you to get more in control and stay more aligned this week. Then once you've normalized those things, you can take it a step further. Okay, what's the next action? What's the next thing I can do? I'm consistently getting 2 workouts a week in now. I can probably push myself to get a third. I'm consistently getting 6K steps a day. Can I get 8K steps now? The way you do that is not by trying to overhaul your life or summon up some unrealistic level of motivation, energy, and focus when you're a busy guy with work, family, and all that other stuff kicking your ass. The way that you do that is lower the barrier for success, start small, get specific, and start taking meaningful, decisive actions towards where you want to go.